Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and you're listening to the Crypto and Coffee 88 podcast, and today is the 6th of December 2022. Now I was really hoping that the final month of 2022 does show some sign of bullish indicators for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because historically December has been a positive month for the price of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in general, but this year 2022 is not having a good start even in the month of December as well. The global cryptocurrency market is well below the $1 trillion mark, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about price predictions. Now look guys, historically, price predictions so far as cryptocurrencies are concerned are 100% right 50% of the time, and in today's episode, we're going to be discussing a couple of predictions, some of them from Standard Chartered. We're also going to be discussing one of the detractors of Bitcoin, that is Peter Schiff, who does feel that the price of Bitcoin could go well below the $5,000 mark, and at the same time one of the advocates of Bitcoin, that is Tim Draper, who got Bitcoin at a ridiculously cheap price, does anticipate the price of Bitcoin to touch $250,000 mark. So one question that I wanted to ask you guys is, let's say if you had $10,000 in the next quarter or the first quarter of 2023, what would you invest in? Would it be gold? Would it be Bitcoin? Or will it be any other shitcoin? Now in today's episode, we're also going to be discussing Asian countries' hate for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but their love for central bank digital currencies. And we're going to be discussing some news that has to do with the State Bank of Pakistan, and they are planning to launch and make some laws that makes it easier for central bank digital currencies, probably in the next couple of years. Now crypto winter is here, and unfortunately we have two news, one from Bybit and Swyftx. Both of them have announced headcount reduction as the crypto winter continues, so definitely not ideal. Now regarding UAE guys, I have two news, and unfortunately both the news are not directly connected to cryptocurrencies or blockchain, but I'll try to explain how it is indirectly connected to blockchain technology. And the first news is about Dubai Future Labs, and they have signed agreement to drive innovation in aviation and logistics, so I'll try to give my explanation how it is indirectly connected to blockchain technology. And the second news is that UAE launches initiative to support startups. So if you're working in the cryptocurrency space, blockchain technology, NFT, or the whole Web 3.0 space, I'll try to somehow give ways how it is indirectly connected to blockchain technology. So let's kickstart today's episode. So welcome everyone, it's A-Team here in Dubai, and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And look guys, every Fridays, I do have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on Metaverse, so please check out those episodes as well. And the format for Metaverse Everything is completely different. And what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn. So please follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race, and Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games. and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the price of the global cryptocurrency market. Now look guys, December is not having the best start that I was hoping for. The global cryptocurrency market is well below the $1 trillion mark, and it is at $852.54 billion. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.47%. In January of 2022, only the market cap of Bitcoin alone was $1.3 trillion. So when you talk about the global cryptocurrency market, it includes all the cryptocurrencies. It has gone down well below the $1 trillion mark. Definitely not looking good. The total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $37.09 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.48%. The worrisome thing for me is the volume of DeFi. The volume of DeFi is currently at $2.81 billion. And the total value locked is $41.84 billion. Now look guys, on the 3rd of January 2022, the total value locked in DeFi was well over the $240 billion mark. So it looks like $200 odd billion has been wiped off from the DeFi sector. Now MakerDAO, which is also called as the Boomer DeFi protocol, still accounts for a majority of the chunk with 15.25% and $6.38 billion is locked in its protocol. And as of today, DeFi accounts for 7.57% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And in 2020 and 2021, DeFi used to account for 15%, 18% certain cases, well over 20% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. So 2022 most likely has been the worst year for DeFi protocols. Now what I'm going to be sharing is the top 5 protocols, keeping in mind the total value locked. We've already looked at MakerDAO. The second one is Lido, and it is currently at $6.38 billion. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about some drama between Aave and Curve Finance, and how a single individual trader was trying to completely collapse Aave and Curve, and this is still possible, and he was doing it in a very legal and authentic way as well. Now, so far as the total value locked is concerned, $3.83 billion has been locked in Aave protocol, and Curve $3.68 billion. And the number 5th is Uniswap with $3.49 billion. It's going to be really interesting to see what the future of Aave protocol is. What I'd really recommend you to do is keep tracking the Twitter profile of Aave protocol, and you might get some updates that most likely are not ideal for Aave protocol. Now let's look at the volume of stablecoins. The volume of stablecoins is at $34.26 billion. And look guys, since 2022, from the second quarter of this year, I've been saying that the volume of stablecoins is low. And apart from that, it also accounts for a majority of the chunk of the total crypto market volume. Both of these numbers are definitely not ideal. As of today, stablecoin accounts for 92.37% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And Tether USDT, accounts for a majority of the chunk with $25.98 billion. The trend that I've been observing, particularly for the last quarter, is the percentage of Tether's dominance in comparison, let's say, to Circle USDC and Binance USD has been going down, and Binance USD's percentage has gradually been going up, and USDC's percentage has been on a downfall since September. That there is some drama going on between Circle USD and Binance USD, and Circle USDC's volume is $2.20 billion and Binance USD's volume is $5.58 billion. So look guys, 2 years down the line, who do you think leads the stablecoin volume race? I wouldn't be surprised if Binance USD does actually lead the stablecoin race. You also need to take in mind, by that time central bank digital currencies will also be going mainstream, and in today's episode, we'll also discuss how the State Bank of Pakistan is creating laws 2 to 3 years down the line that would make it easier for a smooth transition of central bank digital currencies. Now let's quickly look at the market share, 24-hour trading volume, and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's market share is $327 billion, and something which I did mention earlier, only the market share of Bitcoin was well over the $1.3 trillion mark. So almost $1 trillion has been wiped off only from Bitcoin alone. Not talking about other cryptocurrencies. And the market share of Ethereum is down to $153 billion, still well below the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $19.4 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is down to $5.4 billion. Now the dominance has been stable for almost 3 months now. Bitcoin's dominance is 13.30% and Ethereum's dominance is 18.02%. Now let's look at the market cap of privacy coins. Monero is clearly an outlier in leading the pack with $2.62 billion. Zcash is at number 2nd at $720 million, and Decred, which is less than half of Zcash market cap, and it is at $310 million, and Mask Network is at $248 million, and Harmony is at $190 million. What I'm going to be doing, guys, on the 3rd and 4th week of December, I'm going to be releasing a couple of episodes explaining privacy coins. So we'll be looking at the basic fundamentals, what are the challenges, and what is it that governments can do in order to prevent the uses of privacy coins. So I'll try to release at least 3 to 6 episodes at a beginner level, advanced level, and technical level as well. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is $17,001. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.37%. Since the last 7 days, though, it is up by 3.52%. Ethereum is at $1,256. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.15%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 3.84%. Binance Coin is at $288. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.65%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 3.99%. So Binance is definitely being steady, even though the times in cryptocurrencies are quite challenging. Now in today's episode, guys, we are going to be talking about price predictions. Now look, guys, if you've been in the cryptocurrency world since a very long time, you would have seen different price predictions thrown around for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All of the price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. But what happened a few days ago is the multinational giant Standard Chartered did consider potential downside for Bitcoin in 2023, and the price tag that they are looking at is roughly around $5,000, and this is because of the collapse of FTX exchange. And Eric Robertson, who's one of the key spokesperson for Standard Chartered, did weigh up on a potential drop in Bitcoin's value correlated with the surge in physical gold. So when you're looking at these articles or when you're watching YouTube videos, you need to understand that this is taking into consideration the value in physical gold as well. Now the article is published by Bloomberg, and in the article it also states that Nicholas Frapper, who's the global head of institutional markets at ABC Refinery in Sydney, has said gold will benefit going forward from the problems in crypto with a sudden decline in confidence in crypto ecosystem. And Peter Schiff, was one of the detractors of Bitcoin since a very long time. In a response to the article, Bystander Chartered has said Bitcoin has far more downside risk than 70%. After such a decline, Bitcoin will still be way overpriced, so $5,000 will not even be close to the bottom. So it looks like what he's saying is the price of Bitcoin could go well below $5,000 mark. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the first quarter in 2023. Now, last week, Mark Morbius, he told CNBC that he actually sees that Bitcoin is going to fall to roughly around $10,000, and this is due to rising interest rates and tighter monetary policies from US Federal Reserve. And look guys, when we talk about the price predictions, like we are seeing in today's episode, we have different price predictions. Some Standard Chartered is saying $5,000, Peter Schiff is saying well below $5,000, Mark Morbius is saying $10,000, but one of the advocates of Bitcoin, that is Tim Draper, is touting that Bitcoin could touch $250,000. So these numbers are completely vague. And historically, people have also said that the price of Bitcoin will touch $1 million by 2020. None of these things have happened. So listen guys, what I'd really recommend you do is try to understand the fundamentals of Bitcoin as opposed to focusing on the price. Now, the article by Cointelegraph states that renowned venture capitalist and blockchain investor Tim Draper does feel that the price of Bitcoin would touch $250,000. Now, if you're following only Tim Draper on Twitter or on his social media, there's a very high inclination that you will be ending up buying Bitcoin. But let's say if you're following Peter Schiff and mentally you're not ready for Bitcoin, you will be selling your Bitcoin. So it's so critical that you look at information from all sources, then make an informed decision. But what Tim Draper says is partly I agree to and partly I disagree to. The part that I agree to and I like what he's saying is that because of the FTX collapse, the world in general will lead towards greater decentralization, and the adoption of Bitcoin could potentially see users taking self-custody. Now, I personally like that, but will that thing happen? I really am not sure, because you need to always remember, is Bitcoin offering a 10x improvement from current regulatory monetary system? The answer to that is 100% yes. But so far as the user experience is concerned, I really am not sure if individuals will be catered to self-custody. And look guys, I'm talking about people who are not actively invested in Bitcoin, who are not actively seeking Bitcoin. I'm talking about those people getting into Bitcoin. Will they take the additional step for doing self-custody? In an idealistic world, they definitely should. But the question is, will they be willing to do that? That might take a lot of time, maybe a couple of decades. But if that thing happens, then I 100% agree that the price of Bitcoin will reach to the moon. So the big question that I would like to know is, let's say if you had $10,000, what would you invest in the next quarter? Would it be gold? Would it be Bitcoin? Or would it be any shitcoin? Mention your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's talk about some news from Asia. Now look guys, historically, Asian countries, particularly India, Pakistan, China, do have a hatred towards Bitcoin, or it's more to do that the politicians have a hatred towards Bitcoin, and these countries have a love towards central bank digital currencies. But what happened a few days ago? The State Bank of Pakistan signed a new laws for electronic money institutions, also called as EMIs. Now, EMIs are non-bank entities that will be licensed by the State Bank of Pakistan to issue e-money for the purpose of digital payments. Now, this is not ideal because it will be the government who will be replicating the fiat currency into the digital world. If you do want to find out more information, there is an article written by Arab News, and the article via Cointelegraph also states that this is done to ensure the timely issuance of a central bank digital currency in the next 3 years. And in addition to timeline adherence of the central bank digital currency launch, the regulations warrant preventive measures against money laundering and terror financing while considering consumer protection and reporting requirements. Now, all these things at a macro level sounds great, and it is exactly opposite of why Bitcoin was created. Now, I do have an episode on central bank digital currency. I would really urge you guys to go ahead and listen to it so you get an understanding of what is going on. And if you look at the political chaos which is going on in Pakistan since the last year or so, I really am not sure if central bank digital currency is the right thing to do, considering the fact that the regulations for the CBDC projects have been designed with the help of World Bank, and it will also seek to cover other requirements such as outsourcing activities, anti-money laundering, counter-terror financing measures, consumer protections, complaint handling mechanism, oversights and regulatory reporting, and quite a lot more. And look guys, the previous president, that is Imran Khan, I do have a lot of respect, and I do think that he was one of the greatest presidents for Pakistan. He was completely against the IMF trying to help Pakistan, and rightly so. So this move by the opposing party, by getting the law approved that will take into effect 2 to 3 years from now, is definitely not ideal. And at a macro level, it might sound great, but once you truly understand what Bitcoin is, once you truly understand what central bank digital currencies are, this move is definitely not ideal for the country of Pakistan. Now guys, let's talk about two negative news, and unfortunately this is to do with crypto winter. Now Bybit, one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges, did actually mention via Twitter that they're downsizing across the board, and the CEO and founder Ben Zhu mentioned via Twitter that they are unfortunately reducing the number of staff in the next coming days. And along with Bybit, Swyftx co-founder and CEO Alex Harper did have a town hall meeting, and in that town hall meeting he addressed the colleagues, and unfortunately he had to say goodbye to 90 talented friends and colleagues. So it looks like crypto winter is definitely having an impact on cryptocurrency exchanges. Now I'm just hoping that this downfall does not continue in 2023. Now guys, let's talk about two news regarding the UAE. Now both the news unfortunately are not directly connected with blockchain, but I'm going to share ways how it is indirectly connected to blockchain technology. And if you're working in the cryptocurrency space, if you're working in blockchain technology, NFT, or even in the Web 3.0 space, you may want to find out ways how you can be benefited, particularly if you're in a startup. So let's discuss the first news, that is to do with Dubai Future Labs, and they have signed an agreement to drive innovation in aviation and logistics, and I'll try to show ways how it is connected to blockchain technology. Now Dubai Future Labs, the information can be found on the website dubaifuture.ae. Now the vision of Dubai Future is to make Dubai a leading city of the future, and the way things are working out in Dubai, you definitely can see a lot of changes, particularly in the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency and blockchain sector. Now the Dubai Future Labs is an applied research lab focusing on research and development in the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence, and the Dubai Future Labs signs agreement to drive innovation in aviation and logistics, and Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed witnessed the signing of Emirates Airlines, the DP World and the NATO, and His Excellency Khalfan Baloon, Chief Executive of Dubai Future Foundation, said Dubai Future Labs, which was launched 2 years ago, provided an advanced open and applied research and development lab for testing technologies and smart automation solutions for storage, handling, transportations, and logistics services. Now, if you're a blockchain startup, I do believe that the data for the logistics could be stored in distributed format. What are your thoughts? Mention them in the comments below, or look at Dubai Future Labs. Now, the Dubai Future Labs is an initiative of Dubai Future Foundation, and they have signed 3 preliminary deals with Emirates Airlines, DP World, and the NATO, and they are aimed at driving innovation in the fields of aviation and logistics. So the partnership aims to activate Dubai Robotics and Automation Program that was launched in September to support the development of the technologies as part of the Emirates' move towards the future economy, as well as accelerate its deployment in key economic metrics. Now, if you're working in the blockchain sector, you need to identify areas where blockchain technology merges with aviation and logistics. The only area I think of is data. So it could be possible that the data could be cryptographically hashed and stored in a distributed system. Now, the whole idea of the Dubai Future Lab is to facilitate the research, testing, and implementation of new technologies for the ports operators' logistics operations, and develop future technologies that incorporate artificial intelligence, robotics, data analysis, and blockchain. and the solutions planned to be developed include automated and smart systems for transporting, handling, and storing goods across port operations. So I do feel if you're working, let's say, in the blockchain as a service, or metaverse as a service, or even Web 3.0, or if you're a consulting firm connected to blockchain technology, this might just be a good area that you may want to look at. Now guys, let's talk about the second news, and I'll try to see if this news is also connected to blockchain in some way. So the UAE launched an initiative to support 100 startups. Now again guys, if you're a startup, you definitely have to take a massive use of this opportunity. So the Ministry of Economy launches the Future 100 initiative, and the initiative aim is to support economic sectors that will shape future economy of the UAE, especially startups that will contribute to the national economy. And in line with the World's Futures Day, the Ministry of Economy and the Government Development and the Future Office launched the Future 100 initiative, aiming to support 100 startups, a new sector that will shape the future economy of the UAE. The initiative will annually highlight the top 100 startups that will promote the UAE's readiness for the future and the competitiveness of the future economic sector in the UAE. So the Future 100 initiative was attended by Abdullah bin Turk Al Mauri, Ministry of Economy, Ud bin Khalfan Al Rumi, Ministry of State for Government Development and the Future, and 30 CEOs representing local and international company startups as well as entrepreneurs in the UAE. And Al Mauri stated that UAE is keen to launch proactive initiatives whose impact extends over the next 50 to support its new futuristic economic model in line with the emerging global economic trends. This translates the directives of the UAE's vast leadership and reflects the principles of the 50 and the objective of UAE Center 2071. So look guys, I do feel that this is a brilliant opportunity if you're offering crypto as a service, blockchain as a service, probably NFT consulting and Web 3.0 services. You definitely need to look it up. If you do need more information, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So that's all for today guys on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please send me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, or also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And remember, Mondays to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the paths of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And Fridays, we also have a Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. I have a question by Carl who asks, what is the future of stablecoins you see in the next year? But this is a really interesting question, Carl. Particularly what I've been observing in 2022 is a lot of different trends in stablecoins. And earlier in this year, I noticed that there was a downfall in the volume of stablecoins. Now this is a bit worrisome. Apart from being a reduction in the volume, the percentage of stable coins is extremely high. So going back to your question, what is the future of stable coins? What I would like to see, Carl, is I would like to see a reduction in the volume of stable coins and also reduction so far as the percentage or the dominance of stable coins is concerned in the cryptocurrency market. I would like to see Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum as the major driving factor from the cryptocurrencies, because when you look at stable coins, they're definitely issued by a central entity, and stable coins are definitely not permissionless because there is a central entity which can actually stop or prevent you from making purchases. So when we talk about the future of stable coins, what I see next year, most likely there might be a lot of changes. one trend which I've been observing is that the volume of Tether USDT has been going down, Binance USD has been going up. So for the next 1 year, what I see is the volume of Tether USDT might remain constant or might go down. Binance USD's volume might slowly go ahead and increase, but as and when central bank digital currency kicks in, I really am not sure what the use case of stablecoins is. Now, you may as well use a central bank digital currency as opposed to stablecoins. Now, I'm no way an advocate of central bank digital currencies, but personally, I would prefer to use the central bank digital currencies, which will have customer service, which will have the ability to do chargebacks in case if I lose my private key and public key. And you need to understand, Carl, you need to look at it at a macro level. Now, you cannot be an advocate of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and say that you want to use stablecoins, because stablecoins technically do not follow the ethos of open blockchain. As a matter of fact, if you are into Bitcoin, you should be absolutely against stablecoins. But we as a community have some kind of dislike towards central bank digital currencies, which is perfectly fine. But if you dislike central bank digital currencies, you've got to dislike stablecoins because they are doing exactly the same thing. What I do see 3 to 5 years down the line is going to be an interesting race between central bank digital currencies from all across the world and Tether USDT, Binance, and even Circle USDC. I do feel that in the next year or so, Binance USDC's volume will gradually increase. Tether USDT's volume will slightly keep going down, and that's when we're going to see the entrance of central bank digital currencies. And like it or not, unfortunately, that is what is going to happen. I have another question by Rohan, who asks, when will crypto bounce back? Rohan, no one can comment or give you accurate price predictions, and that's exactly what I was saying in today's episode as well. All the price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. You need to look at the macro level factors. You need to understand the micro level factors. What I always recommend each and every of my clients is not to focus on the price. If you were to ask me, is the crypto doing well? I would say so far as the usage is concerned, Bitcoin is doing fairly well. You also have the Lightning Network. Forget about the price. If you look at the adoption, it is still slow, but it is still getting there. Now, will we have separation of money and the state? I really am not sure. It might take at least a couple of decades. I'm talking about maybe 2 to 3 decades when there'll be 100% separation of money and the state. So your question is essentially more related to the price of cryptocurrencies, and unfortunately, we might be seeing some similar collapse to what happened to FTX, and I'm pretty much sure there come at least 8 to 10 projects similar to FTX which might be collapsing in the near future. And one thing which I often say is, my biggest worry, the biggest black swan event is Tether USDT. So Rohan, I am just hoping that Tether USDT does not turn out to be a black swan event for the cryptocurrency. Now, if you were to ask regarding the price, the only price prediction that I can think or I can suggest is after Bitcoin's next halving, which most likely would happen in June or March of 2024, 6 to 8 months after that. So we're looking at 2025 or the first quarter of 2025. I do feel that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general might be looking bullish, but all price predictions, including mine, are 100% right 50% of the time. So that's all for today, guys, in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. This is followed by the Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where your listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.